Well, I mean, it's a different kind of service, right? I mean, you just kind of laid it all out, right? Your first job was, with Public Works, right? I mean, then that's service, then you're in the police department, and, now you're talking about hoping to continue your service at the government level, right? And this, in the meantime, you're still doing things that are providing a service to your coworkers, right? And other friends. So that's a life of service. So that's amazing.
And I made this analogy earlier. It's like your house is flooding with water, but people like her and that group, they don't shut off the water, for one, to stop it. They're trying to find the source first. And this is what that stuff talks about.
We need more police and community engagement. We need more officers. We need people to have more trust and faith in our police officers. They do a great job. Community safety has always been important. The more officers we have out there to talk to the people in their beats, in their district, the more safety it'll be. And that's how you create safety, is by having the community talk to policemen.
What's the one thing that you can attribute to her? Like, what is the one big ticket item that she has done, if any?
I can't think of one.
Blu Wolf Podcast.
This episode of the Blu Wolf Podcast is brought to you by Blue Line Professional Inspections. Check out blproinspections.com or call 210-771-8831 for all your inspection needs, including home inspection, wood-destroying insect inspection, sewer drain inspection, and on-site water treatment inspection. Blue Line is a first responder-owned business.
Hey everyone, I'm Willie Cantu. Welcome to the Blu Wolf Podcast. I'm with my partner in crime, David Sapansky, and we're on a roll lately with these podcasts. And we get a lot of good feedback. I say this all the time, understandably, but I mean, for us, any little bit of an increase it's cause for celebration with it. We just found out through, and I'll introduce our guest here in a little bit. But I want to give a shout out to someone that apparently has been listening a lot. They don't leave any likes or, thumbs up or anything like that. Edmund Bettis, thank you. Thank you. Keep on sharing.
Yes, thank you.
Keep on, listening. And my whole goal is to make you happy. I will say this, these three black shirts, we did not plan. We didn't call each other. We just, obviously, cops love black and blue. But last podcast we had with Manny Pelaez, I did say it was very exciting. It is, no doubt. But recently, Pablo Arriaga here that we have next to me reached out because he's running for city councilman, District 5. But he reached out of the blue. He says, hey, I'd like to be on the podcast. And so it really is, and I'll probably say it the next one, depending on who we have, it really is a special podcast because Pablo is a fellow police officer. He's still active right now. Of course, Dave and I are retired, but he's a friend, a colleague. He is definitely a brother in blue. We're all the good guys, no doubt, but one of the better ones on the department, no doubt. Pablo, welcome.
Thank you, Willie. Thank you for having me. I really do appreciate this.
I'm happy to help you in any way that we can with your campaign. I've always said I do not like politics, but we've been involved in them in our whole career, no doubt. It comes about. But let's just start off with you. You're still an active San Antonio police officer, right?
Yes, I'm still active. I've been on since 1994, and I am still currently active as a detective.
Okay, and you're in CSI?
No, I worked CSI for 13 years. And currently, I'm assigned to the Family Violence Unit, CRT.
Oh, I didn't know you moved there.
I needed a break from CSI. CSI it's rough. What they go through, what they see every day, it's death and violence. And I'm a big advocate for all CSI, civilians and detectives. They see a lot that people don't see. Yeah. And for one, they do need more support, especially mentally for what they see.
So I was going to talk about that, but yes. not quite right away, but you brought it up. I mean, I kind of, my assignments at the department were, luckily, I mean, obviously a lot of them were opportunistic, but I never wanted to seek, I retired as a detective, but never wanted to seek go on to CSI or family, because I don't want to see that stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like you just said, and I'm glad you said it, it is a lot of death and unhappy type of,
A lot of cases can't be made without it, though. And there's a sign to be in there that says, beat them with good forensics, right? And that's what's important. And I got promoted.
You can lose a case because they collected the evidence.
Right. I mean, these guys are out there looking, prints and other things that, to lock down a case.
It is. People seeing the CSI on TV, it is nothing like that. It is not glorified. At every CSI case, there's questions that need to be answered. And those questions are, who did it, why they do it, and what was the end result. So this is what really helps a lot of our civilians too. And our civilians are top-notch, and our officers that work at. You focus on the outcome, the beginning from end, instead of focusing on, oh my God, this is horrible, I'm gonna have nightmares. You train yourself not to think that way. You train yourself, people are gonna want answers. I need to fix it, I need to solve this, figure out why. That way some people can have peace of mind knowing what happened. So I think that is
it's still deteriorating though.
It is.
Your psyche, the human.
I got promoted to detective, a long time ago. And at that time, they made everybody go to CSI, right? And I always thought, wow, it was really a good move for me, because I think it makes you a better investigator.
It does.
Because you understand forensics, you understand collecting evidence, how that evidence is going to be used in trials. And I have always been a big fan of the civilian and the sworn that worked there. So, I thank you for that.
Yes, sir.
But then you go to family violence. Like there's nothing happy about that either,
Yeah.
But it is less,
But the good thing about family violence is that, once again, we're there to help people. That's a great feeling. Men get assaulted just like women. And of course, we have to file charges on women just like we do men. It's always a great outcome when you get that victim out of that dangerous situation. And it's a good feeling knowing that she's going to be okay or he's going to be okay. And in terms of where we try to help somebody, and it happens often where next week, we find out that something even worse happened to them. And that's what we try to prevent, because we do have cases where we think is good, person's good, and it takes a whole 360, and then she's in the hospital, he's in the hospital, a worst case scenario where they are murdered. And that's what we're trying to do. So it is hard work, but we do the best we can to help people. That's what we did.
And I'm going to say it, I'm not going to ask for your input, but I'm sure our DA doesn't know. Don't agree.
Yeah, I can't comment.
So agree, disagree.
So we're talking to the candidate, but we have to be mindful that you're still a sworn officer.
Like I say this, police officers and detectives do a great job. They do. We have the best investigators, best detectives. I can say that for certain, because we have some highly trained, skilled detectives and officers that do a tremendous job.
Yeah, I agree with you. And for the viewers that are watching, we have to be careful, because he is active. Yes, we do have freedom of speech in this country, but we have to be careful of anything that sounds disparaging against the department, or of course the DA. Dave and I are retired. We have consequences that we need to face. That's just the real part of that, to be careful. But we're not going to get into a lot of that. We really want to showcase what Pablo is all about, what he's done for the police department, and what you're about to do. So you came out in 94. What side of town did you work as a patrolman?
When I was patrolling, I worked at the south side of town, which is basically District 5. I worked there I was on the south side, shallow central area, all District 5 for about 15 years.
Right.
And I stayed there the entire time until I got promoted. When I got promoted, that's when I went to the CSI unit and working out of District 5, the central substation. So I've been in District 5 for over 30 years. But it goes further than that. When I was in high school, when I graduated high school, there was a city job. It was, they call them refuse collective, which the garbage man. I was 18 years old. I said, why not? Let me try it out. It was the best job I ever had. I was garbage man. And I was assigned to the South Station. And guess where my routes were? In District 5. So I've been serving District 5 since I was 18 years old. And
collecting their trash and all.
It was a garbage man. That is the best job in the world.
And it got a lot of publicity last year, right? So, we can't overlook the people that, make sure that kind of stuff gets done.
Yes, and I've seen that end of it, to where the Public Works Department, what they do, because I was part of it, and see what they need. And fast forward now, 35 years later of doing public service, I feel like I'm not done yet. I'm not done.
And I just got to say, because, we've all been around the police department for all of us over 30 years now, right? And mostly, you're kind of a rare, you're an exception to the rule, because most people don't traditionally like to work in the area where they grew up. One, for obvious reasons, you meet a lot of people at the high school, a lot of people and things like that. So, there's no doubt that you are 100% invested in where you are, where you grew up, where you became who you are, where you worked as a policeman and now as a candidate for District 5. So that's awesome. That's an amazing thing. Yeah.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, 100%. So where did you go to high school?
Oh, I first went to Burbank High School. I went there for a while until my mother, we moved around for a while, and then I went to Edison and graduated from Edison High School.
So you went to Burbank and then graduated from Edison?
Yes.
Okay. Did you play any sports or anything?
I was pretty much that quiet kid, just went to school. Once I was there, I did a lot of running and track. I was always into running. And the reason that started, it was a long way to school from where I lived to high school. We either walk the whole 3 miles or run. And if I would get up late and miss the bus, I'm running 3 miles. But it was fun. It was great. And then, so after I graduated high school, I went to Palo Alto College.
Hey, all right.
And you had to take class. We didn't have no online classes or virtual meetings. You had to go to class.
Good.
And we didn't have this technology to do your research paper online. Go to the library. You had to go through encyclopedias. You had to type up your research papers. It was rough.
Yeah, no chat CPT, right?
There was none of that stuff. Oh, they got it made now, so it's so easy. Everything's online. But that's what I did. And then when I was 18 years old, I just happened to get that job working with the city, and I had no idea I'd be working for the city this long. I'm still here.
Yeah.
Yeah, since 18 years plus.
The city's been really good to all of us, if nothing else.
Yeah.
The city of San Antonio has been wonderful for all of us. I mean, obviously, we talked about some things that could be better, but the city of San Antonio itself has been a godsend, really.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. And, that's why we're here. That's why we did what we did.
Yeah.
You and I, why you're doing is to make it better, no doubt. So you're married, Pablo?
I was married. I got divorced in 2007. But then my ex-wife and I, we continued to communicate it, and we never left each other. So I tell her, well, why didn't we even get divorced for? We're still, still hanging out.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and it lasted this long. So we're really good friends, and I hope it stays that way.
Good. And children?
I have 3. I have 2 daughters and a son. They're all on their own, doing their own thing. My son is currently... him and his fiance are expecting their first child.
Oh, about to be a grandpa.
Well, I am a grandpa already.
Already? Okay.
Yes, our daughters, they have little ones. I have granddaughters, grandsons, and it is the best feeling. And it is true. Grandparents do love their grandchildren more than their own children. It's just such a great feeling.
That's when you're done with them, you give back to them.
You give with that. That's it. Time to go. Yeah.
I still might live long enough to see one grandchild.
It is.
It's a different kind of love. It's a different kind.
It's a energy.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And your family, do you have a lot of brothers, sisters, or were you only child?
I have a sister, and we are both from the same mother. And this is my father. He had other women. This was back in the early 60s and 70s. When my father was that term a player. And
I like him already.
And
we probably hung out once in a while.
A while ago.
A long time
decades
ago. Yeah.
I have other brothers and sisters, but each one of my brother from my father's different previous were all named Pablo.
Wow.
Yeah, I guess he must have been a fan of George Foreman because his son, my brothers are Pablo.
George.
Yes, and then I got older one Pablo, the younger one Pablo, Aunt Pablo. My uncles are all Pablo. So family reunion is, you can't say, when you say Pablo,
everybody
turns around. Yes, I have older brothers and younger that are all Pablo in older situations.
Hilarious.
Yes. Oh yeah, it must have been great times back then. Must have been great.
Well, it helped you too, right? If somebody says, "Hey, Pablo, didn't I tell you to do that?" Well, I thought you were talking to the other one.
Yes, you get in trouble.
That's a good one.
Yeah, get the one.
So we know each other, and we're friends on Facebook, and I see posts and things like that, and I see your interests, and definitely one of them is weightlifting.
Yes,
I mean, I didn't want to sit next to Pablo because he makes you look smaller and all, but he was. Are you still on the SAPD powerlifting team, or
we tried
doing that?
We did it for a long time. Myself and the officers, we formed a great team with some really strong officers.
Jade Whitney,
Larry Holly, Kenny Williams, Daryl Carley. We had some really good, strong individuals, even females that were just amazingly strong. And we did it to encourage other officers to work out. And we would get a big following. Other officers would join in. We'd get them in shape. They would get strong. For this job, for what they do, for what we do, you got to stay in shape. You got to stay not only mentally prepared, but you got to be physically prepared.
Amen to that.
And we did that for many, many years. And it's still going strong. We still have a lot of officers that would contact myself or the other guys that we currently, I'm actually currently training 2 officers. And I have yet to say no to any of them when they walk in. Hey, can you help me with the program? Can you get me started? Yeah, sure. And same with the other guys. And that's what we do. We encourage every officer, if you need advice on how to work out, get in shape, let me know. We'll help you out because you have to make it a long-term commitment in this field to stay strong. And as well as you worked out for all your life. It's a must. If you're going to be a police officer, you need to keep your body in shape, also keep it strong.
And and without getting off on a tangent, my belief is always, I didn't power lift or anything like that. Mine was more endurance based. And I believe endurance is extremely important because, what people don't understand is what you see in the movies and on the, TV or whatever, officers, say whatever movie, they punch people and you hear that, and they look like they're stronger than what they actually, their actions show that they're stronger than what they actually appear.
Yeah.
And it's theater and stuff like that. What people don't understand is suspects, a lot of them are on drugs. They're definitely on adrenaline, which is a very bad combination. They're wiry. They're used to combat because they live out in the hood. They're, used to fighting all the time.
Yes.
And it's hard to grab onto them because they're greasy. And it's, here we are in, January or beginning of February, and what almost 80 degrees outside, so the sweat and all that other stuff. These people are not easy to handle. And if you can't, I used to see some of the big guys, I call them a one puncher. It's like you hope that you get this person done out in one punch. If you don't, now the fight's off.
Oh, yeah.
And if you don't have the endurance, you're going to get your ass handed to you. That's what I believe. That's what I've experienced, with that. But I didn't, not that I was ignorant to it, but just I'm glad you said that, what you just said about police officers and the necessity for being in shape. I'd like to do a podcast about that, kind of showcasing some of the people, the better shape officers at some point to talk about what's important with us. And then, we, again, not to get off on a tangent, SAPD doesn't require it. The only incentive you have is to get more days off from in-service. And you don't have to take, if you got your time built up, who cares? So it's, hopefully we change at some point with that. You become city councilman, you kind of bring that up.
I'd like to, yes. Make sure that, I would like to implement some type of workout regime, even a diet regime or something like that. And of course, the health benefits are great if they do it. They don't get sick. They don't get injured as easily. And last longer. Yeah, they last longer. And they roll that down to their families. That would be something I would hope you would do. And you know what the city actually does? They're trying. I've noticed they try. They offer discounts to gyms. The officers take advantage of it. Maybe a few do, just very, very few. The gym downtown at the city building, city tower, it's really nice. But do officers take advantage of it? I think they need to be pushed to take advantage.
Yeah.
Get in there and do it.
Yeah. Well, we're still in February. The new year, new mirrors are still yeah.
The resolutions are still intact.
Yeah, they're gonna wane off. I'm waiting for because the freaking gyms are crowded right now. But so you like fishing too?
I do like fishing. Yeah, I became an avid fisherman. It happened many years ago. As a matter of fact, there's a good friend of mine, Mikey Garza. About 5 years.
Loco.
Yes, that's him. He does floors and all kinds of good stuff. And he invited me fishing a few years back, 5 years.
It's good, dude.
Yeah, and I used to do it all the time when I was younger, bass fishing. And I took about a 10-year break, and then he invited me one day, and I picked it back up and haven't stopped. It's a great feeling. It really is relaxing.
So what is Real Swole? Is that a business or just
That's the name of my boat. My boat is called the Real Swole, and it was something that some other people made up because they saw.
Did you know that?
No. They saw me and some other friends of mine that work out. I said, "Hey, y'all are Real Swole."
Yeah.
And I was like, "That's not a bad name." And then some other officers said, "That's a great name. Call you both the Real Swole." So yeah, we do have a logo that says real swole with a big guy who's driving the boat. And I don't think it's me because I put on way too much weight. I think I'm more real bloated. Now his buddy called me real bloated.
Don't change the name of the boat.
I
Bloated small house.
No, I ain't real bloated, man.
So it's real, like a fishing reel, REEL.
Yeah.
Swole. And obviously because, they work out. So it's not a business, it's just the name of your boat.
It's just the name of the boat. And plus, I take officers all the time. Officers that just want to go out and have fun. I compete in a bunch of tournaments, but I invite officers, hey, get a team together, I'll take you guys. And I never really noticed what I was doing. Even to this day, I didn't realize what I was doing. I invite so many different officers, and I see how they recover, how they feel. If they're having a great time, we get done, and then they're like, hey, man, thanks for inviting. And I only invited because I don't come with myself. But I didn't realize that it was actually helping them.
Yeah.
And there are.
Can I chime in here just because I think we were talking just a little bit before we cut on camera. That's so important, right, for officers to find balance outside of work, right? Just to be able to find a way to just kind of decompress, just kind of charge up in a different way, get out there, have some laughs, have some fun with some coworkers or friends.
Yes,
that's good. I think more of us need to do that, or at least it needs to be done more by those that are still doing it. So that's a very cool thing.
It is.
So I got to say, and I think it's important for people to know this, because all they, hear about the police, like we could sit here all day long and talk about war stories and stuff like that, as much as people might like to hear them. But what you just mentioned, there's another side, that police officers are real people. We're human beings. We grew up like everybody else. We put our pants on one leg at a time. Some are married, some are not. They have children. They put them in activities just like everybody else does, in any other profession, whatever. And it's not about us going out I'd say there are very few, because I won't say there's none, officers that go to work every day hoping to violate someone's rights. We went through training for 7 months to learn, on top of the OJT that we had from field training officers and all that, and we know the rules that we have to follow. And no one likes to get indicted, no one likes to get fired or suspended or anything like that. So we're all trying to do the best that we can. The main thing is as every officer says, to go home at night unscathed, because injuries are injuries as it is, but as we talked about earlier, also up here in your mind, that we have to deal with. But, and just now talking to Pablo, what you're doing, and I follow you, Pablo, I have to say this, you're a genuinely good guy. And if you're inviting people just to go fishing because you want to go by yourself, and then you realize that, hey, man, that was not more than just the company, what you did for them. That's really cool. As some people said, I go fishing, not to catch fish, but just to get away.
Yes.
Well, I mean, it's a different kind of service, right? I mean, you just kind of laid it all out, right? Your first job was, with Public Works, right? I mean, then that's service, then you're in the police department, and now you're talking about hoping to continue your service at the government level, right? And this, in the meantime, you're still doing things that are providing a service to your coworkers, right, and other friends. So that's a life of service. So that's an amazing.
Thank you.
I think there's going to be a St. Pablo sometime.
Saint Swole.
St. Swole.
Yeah.
Wow.
So you're running District 5.
Yes.
And District 5, as we see, you'll see in the map here, you got a lot of the west side, that what we call the shallow west side.
Yes.
Which is just right beyond 35 up into how far west?
35 all the way down to South Cross.
Well, that's south. What about west?
Couples, right?
West would be all the way to, it goes further down, Couples to 36th Street.
Okay.
It curves into 151.
Okay.
151 to Callahan at Culebra.
Yeah. It's a big district.
It is big, and then Culebra comes all the way down to I-10 eastbound.
And so you have Southtown
Yes.
as well,
Yes.
which is booming. I wish back in the day I'd have had the presence of mind to just buy one of those
Buy some land.
little
Yes.
houses that was there and just hang on to it, because they were kind of low income type stuff, fueling let them pay for themselves and all that. Because man, I wouldn't have to do this right now. You know what I mean? So,
and if we're being in that area, the people out there are just so nice. You would think, because it's considered southeast side, it's not really high value property, but it really is. There's so many businesses out there that need more help. Matter of fact, we have an officer that has a flower shop out there, and it's the customers that go in there, the people in that area, they just really are genuinely nice people.
So do you have King William then, right?
It's
King or the District 5 would be.
It just goes for us down to a Southtown area, the Blue Star.
Park complex.
I think King William is just right on the north side of District 5.
Oh, is it?
Yeah,
Okay.
I think it goes that far down.
Okay. District 1.
I think it jumps into
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, so we were talking a little bit before we started about some of the challenges of getting people to want to kind of invest in that district, right?
Yes.
So can I ask, and Willie, I mean to jump
No, go ahead.
Eddie, but what makes you want to do it? Like, what do you see that you said, man, I need to throw my hat in this race?
Really, in my area, I live off of Happy Couples, which is pretty much the shallow south side of District 5. I've been there all my life. And I've been there for so long that I haven't really seen too much of change. The streets are still the same, sidewalks are the same, public service is still the same. And I've noticed an increase in the homeless population. The encampments are happening everywhere. And another thing is my daughter goes to the convenience store down the street. And this is one thing that really got me angry. And I used to walk over there all the time. She went down there and there was a homeless man, drug addict, whatever we want to call him, knocking on her window, asking for money. And she said no. She went inside. She comes back and he's inside the car.
Oh, jeez.
And as a police officer, your daughter calls. What mother wouldn't go down there? And so I did go down there and I saw it, and I was furious because that's my daughter. He's scared, and you don't do that. Then I started noticing other people, my neighbors, would come to me and tell me, "Hey, Pablo, there's something you can do. Can't even go to our stores anymore right here. We can't even go to the laundromat. We can't even go to the meat market. With what's going on? What is this problem?" I've noticed it too. And can't stop at intersections anymore because they're in the roadway, banging on windows, and
So you agree those are quality of life issues, right?
big time.
Yeah.
Yes, and
There's a lot more now than back when.
yes, and it's becoming irritating because my neighbors know who I am, and all my neighbors in that area know. They'll call me, come by. Hey, can you help us with this? Help us with that? I don't know if you remember when those pit bulls attacked that old couple on Debla Street and killed his man. It's a block away from my house.
Yeah.
And before that had happened, we had 3 other strays in my neighborhood that were just attacking kids. So my neighbors got together, called me, said, "What can you do?" And I had some contacts at ACS. I said, "I need to get these dogs out of here because I personally see them chasing kids walking home from school." So I signed a waiver, did everything I needed to do, borrowed a cage, and I called all 3 of them, and ACS came to pick them up. Our neighborhood was good. It was clean. Kids can walk to school back and forth, ride their bikes, don't worry about these dogs chasing them.
You actually went out there and caught him yourself?
Yes. Well, I had to do it.
Jeez.
It was horrible seeing how these kids were screaming and yelling, running from these dogs, and people dumped them off over there.
Yeah.
They weren't from our neighborhood. And a week later, those pit bulls attacked those elderly couple, killed them. Man, just a week later,
Wow.
Which it's amazing, right? Because right after that happened, you hear nothing but the local media, even the national media, talking about that like nonstop. And then 2 weeks later, nothing. No, right? I mean, life just becomes life again.
Yes.
Right.
And that is another reason why. And I just researched, well, why was this unattended? ACS is just so low man. They don't have enough people working. They need more.
I'd imagine.
And I talked to a few of them a while back, and I told you know what, I'm going to run for city council. If I win, I'm going to make sure y'all have more resources. Make sure you have enough people because there are, the stray population, it is bad. And these dogs can be dangerous. Obviously, we just saw what it did. It killed that old man. So, and that's just, there are just so many other reasons. That is one that lit that fire like, okay, I need to do something because.
Well, I asked you if I wanted to read, obviously we always do a little research from, we knew you were coming on. And I wound up pulling up the Incumbent's top 3 priorities. And I wanted to read them to you.
Okay.
Is that okay? And so I just wanted to read them to you so you can give us your interpretation of what it is that you're in line with it or not in line with it on. So whether you live in the south side of San Antonio or the west side of District 5, the need for basic infrastructure improvement is vast. And that's true. This is why Castillo continues to prioritize and advocate for street, sidewalk, and drainage improvement. I know you have some drainage specific answers, but let me give it to you. As the second one, as the cost of rent and property taxes continues to rise, outpacing stagnant wages, we must increase wages to keep up with the cost of living. Further, we must preserve our existing affordable housing stock while moving with intention with our limited public dollars to produce permanently affordable housing via land banking community land trust. That's a lot there, right? That's you almost have to be somebody very familiar with legal understanding to kind of digest what she's saying.
Yes.
The third one, we must shift dollars into structural solutions to address public safety concerns by scaling up programs like Stand Up SA, the SA Core Team, and investing in San Antonio youth and community space and services. I mentioned to you off camera, that says a lot, but it says nothing. Really, for me. I mean, I'm not the smartest guy.
It sounds like the long way around.
Yeah, because it doesn't say anything, but that last one, especially when it talks about public safety, really seems like she's saying we need to take dollars away from enforcement strategies and do these other things, which we've heard before, right? I'm not saying I'm against them. I'm just saying it's a lot to say without really saying anything.
Yes.
So can we talk about what the three priorities would be?
Let's break it down. First one there was about, what was her first point on there?
She was just talking about the need for infrastructure improvement is vast, and this is why, because,
where I live at District 5, we have been left behind. We do have some sidewalks that have never been fixed, streets that have never been fixed. We do need better, we have a lot of elderly people, and they do need better sidewalks. They walk to the community centers, and I've been there for over 40 years in that area. It looks the same to me. And it should be better. And secondly, we do need more businesses in District 5. We need more. We have access to Highway 90, and we can have a big QT on the corner of 90 and 90 and Drummond Mullen to bring in more people. It's easy on and off access to the highway. That's that's number one. We have great access. Of course, it'll bring in more jobs. District 5, we don't want any bars be opening up. We don't want that. I've been to all the meetings. That's the last thing that they want. We need more small businesses to employ people that live in District 5, bring more money in. And then the other one where we need more police and community engagement. We need more officers. We need people to have more trust and faith in our police officers. They do a great job. Community safety has always been important. The more officers we have out there to talk to the people in their beats, in their district, the more safety it'll be. And that's how you create safety, is by having the community talk to policemen. I remember there was a time we used to go to the corner stores and sit there and write reports. People would come up and ask that we wanted a bottle of water. They felt safe because there's a police officer there. They can go in, go do what they got to do, take their kids inside, put gas. And for that brief minute they're there, they're safe. I want to bring that back. Every time I come to the store, I don't see officers parked there anymore. Sometimes it can be dangerous because their back is turned, but the community will watch their back.
Yeah.
When people are putting gas, they're watching the officer, make sure he's safe. We need to bring that back again, that trust. And I really want more officers to come to District 5 and meet everybody there. Go park in the store. Even me as a police officer, I don't know these young guys, but I'm going to go up and ask them, hey, man, you want a bottle of water or something to drink? Thank you for being here. Thank you for 5 or 10 minutes sitting here to do your reports. We appreciate that stuff.
Yeah, times have changed though, right? Because now they pick up their laptops, they go inside, whether they're 22 or eating, whatever you
Yes, they
go into the subs and knock out all the reports. So we used to have to sit someplace and write them, right?
Yes.
While we were either finishing the call or waiting for the next one, right? That's how we had to.
And I miss that interaction with the community. What I would do, when I pull over, do a report, it was great when it was, hey, officer, how you doing? You want something to drink? Can I get you a snack? I miss that.
Yeah.
That was when we were a really strong community police-based district.
Well, I think a lot of that just has to do with what society and then the nation has done to us in this last 8 years, I'd say, that the police are bad, and we're getting to the point that even just being there with a gun scares people, therefore they don't want you there. That's real.
Yeah.
We had It was a few months ago where the San Antonio Library was asking for more police presence, uniform officers there. And because the homeless were hanging around and they get aggressive, as you saw and what you just described. Not all of them are just down on their luck and they're looking for a piece of bread to eat. A lot of them are drug addicts and they're criminals, and they get aggressive when they feel like they can get aggressive with you.
Or they suffer from mental health afflictions, which makes it
Well, a lot of that is, that 100%. But, we've been demonized a lot, and we need to come back.
And I agree with you. The media has done that, but yet when you go talk to the store owners, they're totally opposite.
Sure.
There are so many great people like, we're not like that.
Yeah.
And I think it's affecting officers to where like, well, they don't want us around, so we're just going to go hide. They don't. People want you there. That's the media who is making the officers second guess themselves.
But we have these people, and again, a lot of it, and I don't ask for your input on this, but a lot of it has to do with these. You also have these people that come around and they harass you, stick a camera in your face, and a lot of them will ask for your badge, name and badge number. I was hoping for that. Like, what do you need my name and badge number for? Who are you supposed to give it to? You and I have nothing to do with each other. Unless you want me to put it on a report after I arrest your ass. But officers get intimidated because they got a camera up your nose, and they call themselves auditors, and basically they never did that before cell phones. They never did that.
Yes.
It's all cowardice when you come up to an officer with the camera.
Well, we all know that's just clickbait, right? They're looking to get...
Sure. Well, I don't know if you saw, and not to get off on a tangent, but in February in Florida, they passed this law where you have to stay so far away from police officers when they're acting, doing their job, which is great. And I've been thinking this the whole time, I've been saying this whole time, you got to give us a cushion because distractions matter. If I'm trying to, because you're yelling at me and I'm trying to fight this guy and I'm looking back this way, I could lose.
Since you live in your district, the district that you're serving, you served for so many years, the district you live in, the district that you want to serve as a city council member, and I'm asking you candidly, you don't see that, right? The citizens don't feel intimidated by a police officer. We're involved.
They come to him and ask him my house.
Right, but what I'm saying is that the people out there aren't in line with the narrative that's being pushed, right?
No.
So,
it's easy to see that on TV and then get emotional with it because they sell it, and then you come back and, hey, Pablo, well, wait a minute, you just, me and this guy are the same, which they've embellished and lied usually, or twisted the facts, on it.
We've been very lucky in San Antonio, and it's changed a little bit. It's eroded a little bit, but I've always felt like, and this is me, and I'm sure you feel the same way, the citizens of San Antonio have always had a tremendous amount of support for their police officers. So we were talking a little bit about drainage, right?
Yes.
And so that's a big thing for you, right?
It is, yes. Currently, in my neighborhood, my house is right in the middle of this Concepción Creek drainage project, where there are over, I think, approximately 200 houses that are on the chopping block, and I'm right in the middle. And what it is, the city plans to build an underground drainage, water treatment retention pond, and they got to get all these houses off of there so they can build it. Well, my house is right in the middle, and so my family, where I live, there's my house, my aunts and my sister, my cousins live on the other block, and my great grandparents had a house further down where my cousins live at.
All Pablos. No, I'm just
We're all like
On Pablo Street.
We're all related, and all of us are in that area where the city is going to.
Can I ask you, just before you get any further, that wasn't a bond issue, right? That's just a capital improvement plan or issue that they're trying to get done, right? This didn't go to the voters, right?
Apparently it is going to go to the voting. I don't know the whole, I need to do some more research on it. I haven't updated myself in the past week. My family's been fighting this, but it actually is. If you go to the Concepción Creek drainage project on the city webpage, it'll pop up.
Yeah.
And it shows the timeline of what's going on. And it shows, I think this election, May 3rd, is going to go on the ballot.
Okay, so it is going on the ballot.
And we're fighting this. I want to say we're going to win, we're going to beat this, we're never going to hear it again. I hope so, because I don't want to sell my house, or I don't want to give it up. None of us do. And I have to go start over and look for a house somewhere else. But I didn't plan this. My plan was my house is fixed. All of us, my neighbors, we're all set, and we have a home. And to just uproot us and say, well, we're going to give you their appraisal amount for it at the fair market.
Yeah, we're talking about eminent domain, right? Where they say this is the fair market.
If they got it in, if it goes that far to eminent domain, then we don't have a choice. But
Is there any other alternative besides that?
we're supposed to, at the next meeting, there's supposed to be some type of alternative. And like I said, I wish people would go to the webpage. It's the City of San Antonio. It's a Concepción Creek drainage project. And it shows a timeline of what's going on. 2027 has on there when it's going to be going to vote. They want to start the project in 2032.
So what has the current council, it's a councilwoman, right? What has the current councilwoman done to help you guys?
We had a meeting about this a while back at right there at the Kennedy, in one of the schools that are off of Thompson by Kennedy High School. We didn't get much feedback. We didn't get much help. Not even told her personally, help us out. If you want to become a hero, help us fight this. We don't want.
So there's non-responsive.
Non-responsive. I wish I had more backing from our current city council member, and would tell us that I'm going to fight this with you guys because I don't want to uproot 200 families and have the display show. We have 80-year-old couples, 70-year-old couples.
I was going to ask you how many people would be affected.
A lot. Yeah, there's a lot of us.
Well, 200 homes, that's more people, right? I mean,
Yeah.
it's hardly.
Yeah, and the word is, we have to sacrifice this to save thousands from flooding. I've been on my life. That area has never flooded. It's called the 100-year flood plan.
It's just, council is really, the city's really smart because they're strategic, right? Because they're putting it on the May election. And May elections traditionally have a lesser voter turnout. Because we were talking to our point in the last council election, the current incumbent Castillo, right?
Yes.
She won a runoff by 2,900 votes. That was the total number of votes for her.
Yes, 2,900 people.
A lot of people were going out. So you put something like that on the ballot, and it's a big capital improvement plan that's going to affect 200 homes and probably double that many people, if not more. And you slip it in on that, and people aren't paying attention, and then all of a sudden you have a vote, right?
Yes, and what we're scared about it, this goes to a citywide vote, and then of course other areas are going to say, yes, keep it over there, keep it over there. It's not going to help us. I wish it would be just like the District 5 people vote only. We're going to vote no, but and I need to dig in to chime in on it. From the north side, west side, say, yeah, keep it over there. Well, then we're pretty much going to get hammered with it. But I have to see, there are some alternative plans that they've been telling us about. I haven't seen them yet, but I really need to know because it affects me.
Would she be willing to debate you and the other candidate? You said there's three.
I would love to.
I mean, has she indicated that she'd be open to that? Because that'd be a great question for a debate,
Yes, I would. I have so many questions. And there is another candidate who's running, there's three of us running for District 5, and I would love to debate both of them because like I said, they're in my life, so I have so many questions. And I have so many concerns, not just for me, for my neighbors in that area. I would love a debate, a really good one.
Let's get it going.
Yes.
Let's get it going. But speaking of voter turnout, and I've heard this time and time again. A lot of it really had nothing to do. I don't live in San Antonio. I can't vote in San Antonio, really. But in 2023, we had 825,000 registered voters. And the voter turnout for the city of San Antonio was 17.3.
Yeah, that's so busy. That's how
it's ridiculous. It's friggin' ridiculous. And I guess if we were able to find out how many people bitch about the things in San Antonio, it's way more.
Well, it's all of it.
But they don't do anything about it. So looking at your district here, in that district in 2023, there were 2,200 registered voters in your district. The turnout of that was 15.5%. So that's 315 votes cast out of 2,200. So what are you going to do? Because obviously we got to get people there, obviously, to vote for you.
And she doesn't live in this area that's affected, right? Just want to make that crystal clear. Her home is not one of the 200.
No.
Right. Okay.
My plan is to get the word out, to get people who are registered to vote that don't vote to get out and vote. I have neighbors who are registered voters, but they don't vote. And I've talked to many of them, or you need to, well, before, because I want to help
all the time.
Because I want to help.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter anyway, if you hear it.
Yes, so there are registered voters that don't vote, and I'm trying to communicate with them to get their attention, or maybe you need to start exercising because I thought, I want to make this great for all of us, everybody. And I am putting signs all over District 5, everywhere, talking to local businesses, to make sure you tell people we need changes, we want change, and give them my information, tell them to call me, I'll talk to them, tell the voters to tell their friends, vote, get out there and do it. We need this. We need more than just 2,000 people showing up to vote. That is very low. And I know that all my friends that are out there helping me, the block walkers, putting signs, I know we can do it. And especially for those 200 of us that our houses are affected, we're going to get the word out to other people. You need to get out of it.
Can I ask you, and I didn't know this, you admit she's a two-term councilperson, right?
Yes.
So she's looking for her third term.
It's changed. Before this year, it was 4 2-year terms. It just recently changed to 2 4-year terms, which is total 8.
Okay.
So she's done 4, and this one would be the other 4.
Okay. So she's done a total of 4 years.
Yes.
In that 4 years, since you lived there, right? You've served there, right? You grew up there. You know this area. In that's 4 years, what's the one thing that you can attribute to her? Like, what is the one, like, big ticket item that she has done, if any?
I can't think of one.
Well, that's terrible. I mean, really, right? I mean, we were talking a little bit before, just before, and I was telling Pablo, I said, man, we worked in all sides of the city. There's only a couple of districts that the city has never really pushed for advancement, right? District 2, you have Dignities, all the Obama dollars. I was out there, I was on a lot of those boards, millions of dollars.
Well, you would think with Southtown. I mean, because we're a big tourist city.
Yeah.
And they jump at all that stuff to enhance. Southtown is a place.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? And obviously it's in that district and all. And are they regentrifying anything down there? I mean, actually they have there, but how about on the west side?
I can't think of anything on the west side.
Because the east side, right before I retired, I'm over there doing surveillance on a dope house, sitting in front of a brand new country home, with white people going, "Hey, how are you?" It's like, you realize your neighbors will kill you.
Yeah.
They're dealing dope down
You're
this.
talking about in the Dignity.
Yes.
So
The good thing about District 5 is the lots are huge. It's not like up there in the 151 and Alamo Ranch area where your neighbor is the side of your house. Our lots are big. We have huge lots, and those are hard to find. That's what people want. So if we can show people we have these down here, come build your big home, come build your barn dominium. You got quarter acres, half acres. These are rare within the city.
Yeah.
You don't find these anymore. So I think if we can come up with something, if I am elected, I got to come up with a plan to entice people to build your home over here, because you do it, others will see it and say, man, these lots are huge.
In business, right? I mean,
Businesses will start coming. Yes, offer something, entice people to come over here, check it out.
I haven't researched her record, so in fairness, I can't say that I have. But I mean, as a resident, and I understand that you're now a candidate too, but really, you should be able to say, yes, this candidate or this incumbent or this council person has done this. And when you say, I can't think of any, that's a big statement.
It is.
You would. I mean, she lives in that. She lives in the District 5. She has to, right?
But yeah, there's one of the rules, you have to live in the district that you serve.
Right. So
She's a teacher, right? By trade.
I believe so.
So why wouldn't you do something? I mean, you ran for that. That's your point. You're wanting to improve it. But if there's nothing significant, that you get there, why wouldn't you?
Well, even the things that she put on there that we read off, right? The first one is we're talking about infrastructure, right? Now, infrastructure, roads, sidewalks, bridges, things like that, right? Making the area better, right? You said you haven't seen anything there. The second one, she talks a lot about the cost of living and wages, right? That's outside of her control, right? She's not going to be able to do anything about that. But she does talk about access for housing, right? And so, what kind of housing, right? Are we talking about low-income housing, trying to use subsidized housing? Or are we talking about trying to get people to invest in the neighborhood to try to revitalize the neighborhood? She's not really specifying.
No.
And then the third part of it, she's talking about public safety and all of those words that say we should do more of this and less of this, right? That's the way I take it. So what is her prime, like, this is her list. And she has done really none of that?
Not that I can see, not that I know. Maybe there is something that I don't know about, but to actually see something tangible, I can't think of anything. And when you talk about affordable housing, affordable housing, I see some new houses that the city's been developing in the West Side, Guadalupe area, Zarzamora. People don't want to live there. You're wasting your money because you're building affordable housing out there and you're setting people up to be robbed, to have their stuff stolen. They don't want to go there. So clean it out first before you start building these affordable houses.
Yeah, clean it up first.
Clean it up first.
This is what you just read, and I already mentioned it. Those words are like salad, like lettuce in a salad.
Yeah,
they're just soup. They're just fillers, though.
Yeah.
It sounds good, but it's also it's the long way around.
Yeah.
It's nothing that's a direct fix. I made that analogy earlier because this is what was happening in the country, and especially when she claims to be a progressive, when she puts that out there, no doubt, that they understand the rhetoric, because the rhetoric does matter, but it's always the long way around. And I made this analogy earlier. It's like your house is flooding with water, but people like her and that group, they don't shut off the water, for one, to stop it. They're trying to find the source first. And this is what that stuff talks about.
It's an oxymoron because the word progressive means progress. And if you're saying that you've lived there your whole life, served out there as an officer, and you're still not wanting to run the service, and her three main points of interest or to-do list isn't anything she's doing, then she's not progressive.
No.
Progress means...
But you can always, if someone actually held up to the fire, I'm working on this, oh, okay, like they're doing something about it, but you're still taking the long way around.
Yeah.
And as we're seeing, I want to kind of equate it to what's happened in the country. People are tired of that stuff. We're wanting to see results right away. And yes, we're talking about this national election that we just had, and we're seeing the change. I've always said, I'm a pessimist at heart, that San Antonio lags behind on everything. And so until we start changing like that, and what you're doing is you're trying to push it forward. You're trying to truly progress, be progressive in the actual definition of the word, no doubt. But I believe, and again, talking to the listeners here, that whoever is listening now, if you're a police officer, we probably know, and you're listening, and you've been a loyal listener like Edmund Bett is, that you're biased towards us, no doubt. But share this with your family, who are voters. Talk to them about it, especially if they're in District 5, and say, hey, you got to see this, and learn more about that person, that candidate that's running for councilman there. As you've seen and heard from Pablo already, and again, there's some things that I've learned from you, even though, again, we're friends, but, we don't, how long has it been since I've seen you, in person?
It's been a while. I was on the streets. I remember that one night there was an accident. I had to borrow your knife to cut the bags out, the airbags. That was about 4 years ago.
Oh, wow. That was a long time ago. Okay. I was in an accident.
No, you weren't there, but you were helping me with it.
Okay.
I said, I'm going to borrow a knife.
You were helping on an accident.
I was helping on an accident.
Mark that part. Mark that part.
Yeah, it seems like yesterday, but when you break it down, it was about 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah. Wow.
I think it goes further than that, though. Really, most of the time when we talk about here, we obviously care about the police department, and we want what's best for the women of the police department. We honed in on that fact, but this isn't that, right? So even if it's about somebody that's running for office to be one of 10, even if the people out there don't necessarily support what we're talking about on other podcasts, they should want to support something that's going to try to make their home, right, their neighborhoods better. And I think that's the message you're trying to get them, right?
It is. I will not ever push the issue to fund the police, fire, EMS. We need those resources. All the street workers, street maintenance. We cannot take resources from them, take anything. We need to make sure that we invest in our public works department. We invest in our police and fire. We invest in every social service that we have out there to help the community. We shouldn't be funding anything. And, before real quick, there's a documentary called Seattle is Dying. I'm not sure if y'all ever seen that.
Part of that, it's terrible.
When I saw that, I saw that a few years ago. Like, wow, that is horrible. I've seen that here.
Starting to see it here.
Yeah, starting to see it here. The
Really?
beginning stages of Seattle is Dying. I see that on my way home. And I'm like, wow, man, are we going to keep going that way? And they said something that I've heard a lot is that, well, being homeless, it's not legal. It's not illegal to be homeless. But then from us, and I hear my neighbors saying, yeah, well, it's not. It's like, no, it's not. But it's illegal to be on the roadway panhandling for money. It's illegal to go into these abandoned houses and start fires and burn it down. It's illegal to be camping on the sidewalks and starting fires. It's illegal to leave drug paraphernalia all over the streets and sidewalks where children are
being
seen.
in possession of it.
Do you know that the history of that video, right? I'm just going to tell you, because at one point the command staff had to watch it, right? Literally, we had to watch it. It was like 40. Yeah, we did.
Oh, wow.
And it was a former deputy chief, Jeff Humphrey, that brought it to their attention, and we had to watch it. And it came from a good place, and it was about 40 or 50 minutes long. So getting cops to watch something like that. So except for the podcast, right? That's definitely worth watching. But we were watching it, and we started to see things in Austin and things here. So right after that, the chief of our department, who's still the chief of our department, implemented, you might remember this, these quality of life issues that we had to handle. There were 5 of them, right? Homelessness and vagrancy was one of them. Prostitution, open air drug markets. I don't remember what the other 2 were. Graffiti, quality of life issues, the things you're talking about. And every substation commander had to make sure that that was being addressed on a daily basis. And so I don't personally think that is a priority anymore. But to your point, Seattle is Dying is a great way for people to see what can happen when nothing gets done.
Yes.
But it's not it's not on the, you don't see it, like you say, because you're there all the time. You go, and then I do my best thinking when I'm not thinking, and all of a sudden it's like, wow, because you saw the documentary, you're like, we're there, we're getting there. And, it's like boiling the frog. I haven't made it no secret that I'm happy Trump won. We were getting boiled. I was one of them frogs, was getting ready to end up dead because of the shit that these people are bringing, because they think all it is satiation of their own thoughts. That's it. Not for the greater good.
Yeah, see, I don't even think it's their own thoughts. I think it's muscle memory for the mind. I really think people have been feeding them so much information about the things that they ultimately claim as their own. Because if people had original thoughts and they would say, look, I want to help people we all want to help people, right? That's what we do. But we want to help people the right way. And I think a lot of the stuff that's coming out, word salad like what is being put out here, doesn't really tell the voters exactly what you want to do. It should be very easy. I don't think it has to be the 3rd grade level, but it has to be in a very easy, intelligible, easy to understand way. I want to do this. And I don't see that here.
And I think, and want the listeners to understand, we're 3 men. Yes, she's a female. We don't know Terry. I don't think do you know her?
We've had a few, Barbara. We do know, we see each other, we know each other. And she's a bit polite. She sees me, she comes up, she says hello. But our beliefs and our values are totally different.
No doubt. And again, we're not attacking her as a person. We're attacking her actions in that position.
Yep.
And obviously that your goal is to get in that position because you think you can do a better job.
I read it.
Yes. Obviously. And I want to say this as well. I mean, and not because damn well I'm biased towards Pablo, but I learned a lot just in this conversation that you've had as well. And when it comes down to who you want to represent your district, because you have genuine concerns in your society and your everyday life where you're at, the safety of your family, not losing your home to some project that is, try to be sold and things like that. And what I've learned from Pablo is that, you've served you're still serving, I've always hated the word public servant as being called a cop, because some people use it as, well, you should do what I say. That's not true. You do serve the public, you're still doing it. We did it. And you're, you said the people that in your area, your neighbors know you, and they come to you still. You're off duty, and you're jumping up and you're helping them out. Hell, you got 3 dogs, for these people. That's not your job. I didn't remember going through dog catching classes or any training that I did in the SAPD. So you're serving there, and that's just a true testament to your character to begin with. And this is the type of person that you want running your district, and definitely part of the city, and have any kind of input throughout the city in there. And I will say this, Pablo, because he is a police officer, as you stated, that if you do win, then you have to leave the department, right?
Yes.
He's going to retire from there. So then obviously he'll roll into this job as city council, God willing, for however long he'll still be serving the community. But he has this, and his neighbors know this side of his character, that he's going to risk his life for y'all as well. I'm not saying Terry won't do it. She probably won't. It's probably not her character, to do that. But this gentleman right here will, because he knows how. You've been trained. You will risk his life. I mean, the story we just heard was dogs. He could have been bitten. We talked about someone being killed by that. We had an officer that got mangled because was it on that same one?
It was on the south side. No, this was I think the dogs were eating a human.
Yes, they were already eating that guy.
Eating him. Yeah, officer showed up and he got attacked.
Yes, and so Pablo, will probably still hold a commission. I would.
Yes,
when you leave. So he'll be the type of guy, if you're getting home invaded or something like that, he has the training, and he'll have a weapon, and he knows what to do. And no doubt will he go first. That's just the character. This is the type of person.
And it's encouraging in another way, man. I really believe this. It's something that I think we were talking in the last podcast with the mayoral candidate, right? And I think one of us made the point. Our police officers do this by choice, but they can do so many other things, right? They would literally. We have some really bright people that can contribute in so many different ways, from like being physicians to being lawyers to being CEOs to whatever. Some are CEOs of their own companies, right? But I can't. The last person that was a former police officer that was on the city council, it's a long time. Ron Segovia.
Yeah, Ron.
Yeah. And so we don't see that a lot. So what you're doing is amazing. It's inspiring. Hopefully others, will, of course we want you to be successful, and we hope that you are. But we hope that others see it as an opportunity to maybe do likewise, to represent their communities in a different way at City Hall, because there's only 10, and by yourself, you can't do a lot, because the city manager has a lot of weight, the manager has a lot of weight, and the mayor has a lot of weight. But I think you, as a council person, if you should be in that spot, I think you can inspire others to want to do likewise. And then you start giving people, start representing different aspects and look at it from a different lens. So it's amazing what you're doing, and I hope that you succeed. And I think others should maybe take a look at, man, there's an opportunity for me to continue to serve my city.
That would be great. Yes, it would.
Is there any last words that you want to tell?
I really do. Yes, running for city council, it's taking a lot, and it is costly. I don't mind using my own funds, which I am. If it costs me whatever amount of dollars, I will. But most people look at, go to my webpage, go to Facebook, Pablo for City Council District 5. And if anybody can, I'm not soliciting for funds, but if anybody would like to donate to my cause to help me get there and do the things that I'm saying I'm going to do, because I'm going to do these things. I'm not just going to get into office and be lazy. I'm going to get these things done. So go to my webpage, Pablo for City Council District 5, and contribute. Leave a message. You want to go block walking with me? Let me know where you live, and I'll go to your areas. If you want to go to meet and greets, I'm going to have everything on my webpage, my Facebook page, and come out and meet me. Come out and join me. Give me your ideas. Let me know what's going on in your area if you live in District 5. And I guarantee you, I'll be out there with you, and we'll have a solution. And if we can't get it done, we're going to figure out a way to get it done. Thank you for everything and having this. I'm great.
I think it's awesome. Best of luck to you, man. I've known you a long time, man. You're a guy of character, high principle, and you do what you say you're going to do. So it's the people in District 5s are very lucky to have you as a candidate.
Thank you. I appreciate those kind words.
Folks, like I've said, I believe he's the right person for the job. And you guys need to get out and vote, man. This voter turnout is ridiculous in San Antonio. It does matter. It really does. Your vote does matter. And if, it doesn't go your way, we just keep on plugging away. But either way, it's going to affect you if you don't do this. I'm appreciative of you all watching the podcast and liking, and hope you like more and share. Give us some thoughts, good or bad. We take all kinds of constructive criticism, and like I said, please share. But thank you, Pablo. Appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. Appreciate this. Yes.
Thanks for coming on, bro.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Best of luck.
It's been great.